What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson. We're here with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, I'm happy to introduce our guest, Mr. Jason Hart. Coach Jason Hart, NBA vet, went to Syracuse, high school coach, college coach, been at every level now, the head coach of the G League Ignite. Jay, welcome.
How you doing, brother? Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
it. So, we on this show, what we like to promote and introduce is just how to get better. It's about elevating your game, both on and off the court, with your experience just as a coach, as a player, as a dad with a kid who's in the game. What do you think, if you had three things to give me, that parents could focus on for their kids, not reaching the highest level playing in the NBA, but just reaching their highest level as an individual?
Well, I think the three most important things is to understand what's the goals, right? And so I think education has to be first and foremost. Loving on them in those early years when they play bad, because you never know how it's going to be 10 years from now. So while we're going to stress the situation out now, and in 10 years you may not even be playing. And then three, just encourage them is what my dad always told me, just do your best. I think a lot of times, with the rise of social media, rightfully so, it's giving our kids in this basketball world in particular anxiety.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we as parents, we got to do a better job of encouraging, because we know they comparing to their friends when we're not around through social media, and it causes anxiety, and that leads to a whole nother world of things we don't even want to discuss.
100%. I like what you said. Your number two remark was, as a parent, loving on them regardless of what's happening in the game in the moment. What does that look like for a parent? I'm gonna say driving to a game, during the game, and then after the game. What would that look like?
Well, as a parent, you're gonna coach your son when you drive, or daughter. You're gonna coach him to the game, but we gotta understand, like, at the end of the day, we don't have to be as harsh. And again, I was one of them parents, so I had to learn and grow. And so I'm dealing with one now, different sport. So it's just all about encouraging and loving on them and knowing that this moment ain't going to be forever. And so this helped me for number two. And so I think the loving on them and letting them know that you're still the best regardless, because you are. Yeah. I think that's most important.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's a big thing that I love to communicate with the parents, especially with middle school, before they get to high school, and with the AAU scene, the kids who are playing at the highest level as far as middle school goes.
Right.
Like, y'all worried about this? No college coaches are watching this. Right. I asked you this when you were at SC, we had a bunch of kids and we went for a tour. And I asked you this, I said, how many middle school rankings do you look at as a college coach? None.
Yeah, none. Right.
And then, okay, what high school rankings do you really look at?
None.
So these rankings, these systems that are put in place don't really matter when it comes to somebody who can hoop. The coach is going to find you.
Yeah.
What are you looking for as a coach? You're recruiting at the college level and now at the NBA level. What are you looking for?
Well, for Ignite, for college, it's two things. College, you're looking for a young man who understands what he wants in his life, and hopefully somebody who's aspiring to be a pro. And so as a recruiter, you got to know you getting somebody's son out their house, their love. So you got to treat them as if they're yours, right? First and foremost, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, that's your job. And then two, our job as a recruiter program is to get that player better. Period, point blank. If we didn't think they can get better, we wouldn't be recruiting them. But we can't underestimate that they're not Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan walking through the door. And so our job is to find the talent and then help them get better. And I think that's kind of getting lost. For the Ignite, we try to find, and I hate to use this term, but it's reality, is like pros that are in high school. And when I say pros, the ones that like Stevie Wonder can say, well, he can hear what they're doing on the court. Right. Because we're not trying to just get every player and not have them have success. And so that's what we're looking for now, but also gym rats and people who are chasing to be great athletes as opposed to chasing to have the most fame on social media. That don't work.
Right. The followers don't translate to NBA contracts.
No, because on the other end, somebody want to see if them followers is real.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that you spoke to this, the development side.
Yeah.
Is not happening. You know me, that's my bread and butter. It's
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, I don't care what the parent says, I'm getting this kid better.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been about. That's what I know a lot of coaches and trainers are about for the most part. But with the transfer portal, with just the way college basketball, the nature of it, which is there's nothing wrong with it, but coaches are going to go to that next level, try to get that next job. How can you truly develop a player? What does that look like in today for these coaches? We're talking to the coaches now.
Yeah.
What should that look like for a college coach?
Well, it used to look like I got a freshman, so if he's an elite level freshman, obviously he gonna find his way to the floor earlier. But I may have a freshman who come in at 165, and by the time he leave, he'd be 205. And so those type of players in time has changed, and it's changed because it started from the top, not the coaches. It started from like the ADs. Every AD wanted to win the championship early, so it subliminally puts pressure on these college programs. And so when that 165-pound freshman that used to come in 20 years ago, he had time to develop. Now, if you're not hitting the ground running from day one, is send him to the side and I'm going to the portal to get something better. And so it's just the hire and fire of college coaches now. So they get the anxiety to where they feel like they got to win every practice, every day. And so it's no more weight for kids anymore. Yeah. And, you become ostracized, and then that's when, these kids start going through these different stress related issues, and then they turn to substance abuse. Yeah. It goes that fast. And so it's just what it is now. So it's rare that you get to develop anymore, and it's just unfortunate, man. I'm happy I didn't come up in the time, this time right now when I played. I'm just so happy I didn't.
Right. And so that means it's more important for those middle school and high school development phases now.
Yep.
And those coaches to actually know what they're talking about.
Correct.
And teach it. Because I know there's a difference between the college game and the pro game.
Yeah.
But there's some fundamental skill sets that you can have that translate to both. And that's my biggest issue, is that coaches teach what they learned, but not necessarily what they need to teach. Correct. If that makes sense. But I know when I started, I did whatever my junior college coach taught me. That's what I did. And it worked. It was good stuff. But then as I saw the game progress, I had to, I need to learn from Chris Johnson. I need to learn from Drew Henlon. I need to learn from Coach. Like, I need to see who else is teaching and how they're teaching and having success developing their players, where I can see a kid's getting better in 2 weeks. That's all it takes.
Yep.
So,
and that's what the key word you said was fundamentals, man. We got to have a fundamental base. And so for me now as a coach, coaching young players in the NBA pro world, they have to have a fundamental base, because when pressure gets on them, they got to have something that's just fundamental and clean just to look good in the game. Forget a step back or this or that. You got to be fundamentally sound. I just think that through the highlight mixtape world, and it is what it is, we lose fundamental. That's why they still traveling in college and pro.
Right.
Nobody stop home two no more and decide what pivot is going to be. And so we got to just get back to that. And that's why you're important to the culture with your program, is teaching fundamentals. It may be boring, but it's how you stay in the game. Like the long game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Going to that, we're going to take a quick break and look at our movie wall here, man. So we like to see, what's your favorite hoop movie of all time?
Okay. Well, my favorite hoop movie of all time, I watched it about 100 times, is Love and Basketball. Because it gave you a little bit, it kind of reminded me of my childhood, right? All the songs, I grew up off all the songs in this movie. It was kind of filmed in my neighborhood, the Crenshaw district. And it had a lot to do with basketball, but it had the breakup of the parents. So that was reality back in the 80s when my parents broke up. And then you find love. I'm still with my wife. She didn't play basketball, but it was through that childhood, early age level. And so I just think this movie is a real movie, and it's one of my favorites all time. Quincy McCall.
Yes, sir.
The USC native.
Yes,
so it was a great movie, man. I think it's probably one of my best movies of all time, regardless of sports.
Can you say every word verbatim?
What you mean?
In the movie, could you do the movie verbatim, every word? You think you can know every word?
Well, I wouldn't know every word, but I know a lot of parts. My wife can tell you that, because I make a lot of parts in my head. But yeah, man, I watch the movie a lot.
No, I've probably definitely seen that movie 100+ times myself. Yeah. It's a good one that I like to say. I always say it's my top 3. Okay. It's really hard for me to pick one, actually. it depends on the season. I know I watch Above the Rim a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
Above the Rim was like the basketball Tupac Thug movie.
Right.
Blue Chips was something that we tried to aspire to be. That's what it used to be in college basketball, the recruiting, the paying. So now this is like NIL now.
Right.
So that movie is back forward. Yeah. You got some good ones, man. Ray Allen, he got game was a good one.
Yep.
That was my rookie teammate. And Joanna Man with Today's World.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, moving along. What else? I know you're with the Black Coaches Association.
Yes.
You're president?
Yes.
Yeah, so president.
Well, not president, board member. We don't have an actual president yet. So I'm one of the board members who, me and Pooh restarted the BCA. And so we've been acting as a board, and we make our decisions together. We've been looking for a president for some time because we're all busy, so we're just trying to find somebody who can be committed daily. So we have a board, and we make our decisions through our board.
Awesome. And with the Black Coaches Association, I know you guys did some things at the Final Four recently. You guys are going to do some stuff at Summer League coming up. What's the overall goal? You know, I've been sitting in on meetings and listening and watching everything. What's the overall goal, and what can coaches do to get connected and use that as a resource?
So we have a mailing list of over 2,500. And so we try to mail out to all coaches and update on what's going on for the state of Black coaches. The overall goal is to educate and enlighten people on the low numbers of Black head coaches in sports, period. And it's all sports, from not just basketball, but like we're talking about swimming and volleyball and every sport, softball and college. And so we want to educate people through numbers and statistics and show the disparity. And then we try to educate ADs, search firms on why is these things happening. And so, you know, our goal is to, you know, inspire young coaches and, you know, make them chase their dream and becoming a coach. I left college because I couldn't get a job, so I'm a part of those statistics. So I had to go another way. And so with the BCA starting, prior to me leaving, I was one of them statistics, man, where we couldn't get it. So let's start something to educate people, and so this won't happen to the future coming behind me. So I may take a bullet by telling you this is wrong, but I know people behind me is going to have a better chance at making it happen. And so that's what I'm standing up for, and that's why we kind of started the program.
No, that's awesome. I see the opportunity just to have mentors, right?
Yeah.
Connect with people who want to mentor people, and you know, just that all the resources that can come together in that one place. Just things of just hearing, you know, George Raveling come and speak to us. Like, I was like, what is this? Is it a random Thursday night or whatever it was? And like, just those opportunities to get that as a resource and to understand that this is more than just X's and O's.
Right.
And all I heard mostly from the coaches who were at the highest levels was that, man, this is about character.
Right.
This is about building yourself, about your personal development, and how important those things are, especially today, because of how the kids are raised. You know, parents are at work and building their personal brands, and just a different climate to where these kids are missing some life and interpersonal skills that they will need to be successful when they go into college by themselves.
Right. And you know, one thing to piggyback off that is like, we don't have those coaches anymore. Those are the George Ravelins, the John Thompson. Those are like the father figure. You know, that is gone. And it's sad. It's a sad time because, you know, to me, and this is my opinion, every player now that comes in college is just a number. When I say a number with the portal, you know, if we got 1 through 13, if 10 ain't good enough, then we're going to get rid of 10 and replace it with another 10. So now you become, as a coach, black or white, you become part of this cycle to where you shuffling kids in and out, and it's almost like you can't care. You can't hug them and love them.
Right.
They're numbers. So you're going to have transfers and you're going to have transfer portal, because once an individual don't feel no love and they smart enough to know what's going on, they're going to leave. Right. And some of them leaving because they don't feel the love, but then 60% leaving because they tell you to leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the part that people like, oh, why is this kid entering the portal? Because literally had a kid yesterday tell me that they had a coach switch at the school. He told, hey, we're going to let you guys know in a few days what we want to do, who we're considering keeping. So we don't want nobody.
Yeah.
Whole team. A whole Division II level school. Whole team going.
Whole team going. So figure your life out. You know what I mean? And so when you tell me to figure my life out, right, and I become 25 years old, when I see you again, how you think that interaction is going to be? Hey, how you doing? You remember me? Right. You know, it's going to be met with aggression and anger.
Right.
And you're not going to have time for that as a coach. But that's been boiling in me for 7 years. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have an angry generation of men, right? Because as coaches, we're going to get older. Look, I'm great. So these guys are going to go get bigger, stronger, and faster. And so the days of coaching and speaking to young men and assistant coaches, it's my slogan for people who know me. I'm going to talk to you like we're in a dark alley, regardless of position. So a lot of times you may have a head coach talk to the assistant coach. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, if you talk to me all the time as if we're in a dark alley, it won't be like that. You're going to have my back, I'm going to have yours. Mm-hmm. But when we come into public, that's how it should be with our players as well. And so, you know, ain't nobody really tough in basketball. It's just you can coach somebody hard. But don't nobody really try to get to the physical side of it. And that's the aspect we lost, man. We talking people crazy.
Yes. No, I've heard that from players who are at, you know, some high-level schools that's what they took away. How was your experience? That coach was crazy. I can't believe how he talked to other people around me. And wasn't talking to the kids. Like, he coached the kids hard, and they, you know, but the way he spoke to the scorekeeper, the way he spoke, and it's like, yo, these are people who preach, and it's the people who are preaching, oh, on high character kids, but man, these kids are gonna they're gonna perceive you by what they see, not what you say. And it just baffles me, man. I hope it's like this. Like, I know this is all I speak about is your character development within basketball. I always connect it back to basketball, but my views ain't nowhere close to when somebody on there, you know, giving somebody buckets, cussing them out, or showing them a move when it's easy to go look up a move.
Yeah.
It's easy to go get training nowadays. Yep. You go anywhere and go get training.
Yep.
But these are the pieces that people are missing, and it's like the kids are blind to it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, even when I tell them, hey, you should operate like this in this arena. This is how you, yes, coach, no coach. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, when you come to the gym, be ready to go. Jersey tucked in, toes on the line, like all that little stuff I'm saying, you're going to stick out because nobody else does it.
Right.
And they look at me crazy, and I'm like, just do it one time.
Yeah.
Watch what happens. Right. When they do, they're like, I get it now, coach. Mm-hmm. And it's like, where is that demand from the parents? And so you always have my back. Like when Jay was in the program, these parents aren't holding these kids accountable at home now. Mm-hmm. And so when they come to us to get coached and try to understand the game, they don't even listen to us because they don't got to listen to nothing at home. Right? They don't have any chores. They have no responsibilities.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, how am I supposed to help your kid? You want me to help your kid understand basketball, but he don't even understand how to clean his room.
Yeah.
And it starts at home, and it's not a knock on parents. It's just like, if you want to allow me to teach them that, allow me to teach them. Don't get mad when they come back like, coach was tripping.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do this, and I got my step back.
Right. It's tough, man. I mean, again, like the parents, you know, they get anxiety because nowadays, you got to think, man, I'm from Los Angeles, California. So when we came up, if you got a letter, you went crazy. So fast forward to 2023, like the dude over there is going to the NBA. So getting a letter is like, you know, I want more offers.
Right.
Like back then, you didn't start getting recruited until the end of your 11th grade. You didn't get no offer in the 7th grade, 8th grade. And so, like, we got offered scholarships by phone calls, and it was like real recruiting in terms of like seriousness.
Yeah.
And so my mom and dad was at work. Like, they wasn't minding and meddling in my basketball journey. So now parents, man, to their credit and to their fault, they see little Craig over there going to the NBA and they son just as good. So they don't understand and know no more. It's like the NBA is a real thing now. So like you're gonna have more parents meddling and being parent friends with the kids.
Right.
Because they want to make sure they stay in their blessings to get some money at the end of the day. Now, I could be wrong. I'm speaking from how I feel. But, like, at the end of the day, you got, like, homie parent or friend parenting.
Yes, that's it. I experienced a kid calling their dad by their nickname.
Yeah.
And, like, during a workout session. And I'm like,
yeah.
Nah. Like,
Nah.
I had to stop it. I'm like, hey, man. Hey, around me, you call him
Right.
dad. Like, when a kid calls me by my name and then say coach in front of it,
Right.
I'm like, hey, nah, I know your parent calls me Todd. They are allowed to. They're an adult.
Yeah.
It's Coach Todd.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I want you to do that on the next level. I want
Boundaries.
you to, man, and it's, I'm not your homie. I'm here to help you do something and get better and hold you accountable and teach you discipline and structure, because you're going to need it one day.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know that you need it until you need it.
And when we send our players to these different colleges and we teach them everything you said, you know, the respect for the coaching, the respect this and coach that, we got to give them the same as the coaches.
Right.
We can't be on we too high to shag balls or rebound or not get respect. It got to be the same.
Yeah. Because
again, this talent that I'm sending you, somebody love him and will kill for them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you got kids, you love your kids enough to where you'll try to hurt somebody if they do something to yours. So we got to understand, got to be respect on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's what.
Because I'm going to send you mine, or the next person's going to send you theirs, respectful, on time. They're going to make some mistakes. That's normal. But, like, we got to get the same. We got to get back to making it even.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, you know, you're going to have an angry parent. That's why I got a portal. And they, you know, you move on, but sometimes people don't.
Right. So you're in an interesting position with the G League Ignite because you were dealing with, it's a mixture of pros. Mm-hmm. Some who were 16 was. We
just signed. School came at 17.
School came at 17.
We just signed a kid that's 17 now. He turned 17 in March.
So turned 17.
Just turned 17.
So
school that just turned 17 too.
Man, so you're dealing with kids. Wait, he just turned 17.
School when he came to us in September, August, but he was turned 17 that February. Wow. So when we got there, he was 17.
Dealing with teenagers, mm-hmm. And then who's the oldest on your team is 34?
This year the oldest on the team was Pooh, who was 39.
39.
So when Pooh got to the team last year at 38, Scoop was 17. He was 21 years older than him.
So you're dealing with a wide range, and of course I know those vets are there to help you know develop and train those kids, but also you're able to see from when Lil J was in high school 1 year ago, however long that was, that development curve from when you were at USC and to now in the G League. What would you say is the biggest difference from high school to high level college to G League?
Well, so from high school, man, like Rod Strickland always said, you know, talent don't have no age. And so, like, Kobe demonstrated that when he got drafted at 17, he was able to, you know, you only can foul so many times. So when you get a young player that's skinny, you foul, where you going to foul out? Right. And so one of the things we tell to the parents, like, they want to get him stronger, but the talent level is going to always win out. Mm. And so from the high school to college, like Evan Mobley in particular, he was good in high school, good in college, good there. He would have did the same thing with the Ignite, the G League, because he's just that talent. So the elite ones going to always shine because they're just different, right? And I wasn't one of those elite ones. I had to go to college for 4 years. But the basketball, I'm dealing with a 17-year-old, right, on the roster with a 38-year-old. It made me my first year being a head coach, it made me a better coach wherever I go, if I go back to college. Because how I talk to Pooh, who's 39, and the 17-year-old, I'm talking to him the same. So I'm giving Pooh the same respect because Pooh is married with kids, wife in the crowd, kids running around. And so I'm coaching Pooh the same way I'm coaching Scoop, temperature-wise, and my voice and how I'm teaching. Yeah. You get their level of respect. And so in college, you yank a dude out. I'm not yanking Pooh out 39 years old. I'm not yanking Meek out or Amir Johnson played in the league 15 years. Right? So I'm not yanking my babies out. I'm talking to them the same way. And so it's in the pro coaching is respect. That's why you watch a pro game, you don't see the coach going crazy when somebody make a mistake. Because what you gonna scream at Dylan Brooks or LeBron? What are you doing? Right. So in college you can do that. And so it taught me how to coach everybody the same with tone in my words, and that's something that obviously I needed, obviously because it was my first year at the pro level, but it taught me that you can get the same out of everybody if You talk to them the same.
And you think that can be adapted to the high school level and to the college level?
I mean, I'm coaching high school level. I'm coaching. So one of these teams in the NCAA tournament, their players, their team like 25 years old. That was older than mine. I'm coaching 17, 18-year-olds. And so, and then I'm not getting them ready for like the national championship. I'm getting them ready to go play against their reality. Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, this or that. So the stakes are higher.
Yeah.
I know we want to win a championship for the school that lasts forever, but like these dudes are preparing to play against these guys, so they got to be ready. So, you know what I mean? How do you get through to them and let them know? And so that's relationship building. Yeah. Like really like caring.
Yes.
Like, damn, you all right, man? We got to go eat lunch. Yeah. It's not like I got to put them off to the assistants because, you know, it's their life's on the line in terms of like their career. Not their lives, their career. So I got to get to know these guys. They're true one and dones, but how I speak to them keeps them confident. Yeah. I don't want them dudes out there playing on the court nervous and scared. A lot of times, we as coaches, we defend our players before they even play in the game. You hear this terminology when you get to college. Man, this ain't high school. You can't do that. No, me, I'm telling men, do it. Let me see it. And then I let them figure out it don't work. Then they be like, damn, coach, that move, I got to work on that. Yeah, I already knew that, but I'm going to let you see if you can do it.
I do that with my daughter right now.
You got to, man.
It's like, because people want to protect and coddle and don't do this, don't do this. I'm like, no, jump off the table.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I told my wife hates it. I'm like, no, let her keep jumping.
Yeah.
She gonna fall. She gonna understand what it is and what she's gonna be better. Now she's a freaking gymnast dang near because she didn't figure it out. Right. She knows how to operate in that. And I ask her every day, would you fail that today? Would you make a mistake? And I celebrate it. Oh, you messed up? Did you try again? Yes. Yeah. You'll hear her say it. Keep trying. Keep trying. And it's something I tell these kids and these high school coaches, with the old school mentality of you make a mistake, get out.
What is that?
Man, like what do you teach? Oh, you only learn by the bench. No, you can't learn sitting down. You can watch some film. We can watch some film together. And yes, the bench can be something where you're going to teach them and put them back in the game. Right. But if you're not letting them play through their mistake and correcting them, they ain't learned. They're never, ever developed.
So just imagine if I was doing like Scoot Henderson like that in front of Pat Riley.
All those opportunities to be gone.
That's what I'm saying. And so like you will come out after mistake, but it's like, come over here, man. Right? Don't, you know what I'm saying? Get better from that. You just But I can't do that because again, when I came in the house and I told your mom or dad, this how we're gonna use them, this how we're gonna get better, I gotta stick by that. I gotta stand on that. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not a car salesman telling you about the sunroof and this and that. I gotta really stand on what I said. So for me, I like that. It holds me to my truth.
So help me here. Okay. When college coaches do that, they go into a kid's house and tell them, hey, this is what I have for your kid. Yeah. This is what it's gonna be like. And they renege on that word. I'm a space player. I hope y'all know what reneging is. Yeah. And they renege on that word. What's the explanation to the parents in the college level specifically? Because that's where I hear about it the most.
Well, in today's world, the word used now, that's cap. It's a cap salesman, right? Because their job is to get the most talented players, right? Period. Regardless of position, whether you got 1 point guard, you're gonna go get 3, and they think it's fight it out. Right? So fight it out means somebody gonna lose, and when that person loses, we'll get rid of him and get somebody else. But when it's reneged, it's like, if you got some kind of compassion, I'm coming to your house, then I know it's a responsibility to try to get you better. If you flat out lie, don't get mad when I'm hating on you in the streets. Yeah. So you can't get mad. Like if I just came to your house and flat out lied to you, and then you don't honor what you said. If I'm talking about you in the streets to wherever AU program, the Tide, whoever, you can't get mad. But if you get mad, come see me.
Right. Come talk about it.
Come see, and we don't. It don't got to be in a professional setting. So obviously, the college world, you're in a professional setting. But when I'm in, you don't get mad. You cannot. We can't have both sides. No. And I was on that side. And I tell everybody when I was at USC, man, I can't lie to you because I'm never leaving LA. You're gonna catch me at Heritage Christian, you're going to catch me at the mall. I'm not leaving, so you're not going to come up to me and ambush me because I didn't lie to you. Right. And so that was my whole pitch in recruiting prospects from Southern California. I'm not leaving, and I'm not leaving LA. So, that was one of my pitches. But like, yeah, man, it's a lot of cap recruiting, and that's why you have a lot of players leaving, man. It's the way of the world, man. Who really cares about the truth when I'm just trying to get something for me?
Then my question is this. and if it's possible, I know it's going to take a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How do we fix all this?
Man, you know what? I think it starts with dialogue. I think a lot of people don't know. Man, I'm pretty sure from like the coach's point of view, he under pressure, and then the kid, they have their own anxiety. So I think it'd be a lot of recruiting off that paper.
Yep.
So you go recruit off that paper with somebody's opinion who had never played, and you put a list together. Maybe a coach said, "Oh, he's the number 4 player. Let me go get him. He wasn't 4 worthy, right?" And so,
I want to speak to that.
Yeah.
I literally heard a parent call a recruiting service right in front of me and said, "Hey, so and so should be probably top 30. You made that list and he's not on it. It's like a top 100 list." Literally said, "Yo, he should be in the top 30." 10 minutes later, he's number 28.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Well,
a phone call from a parent.
That's crazy.
From a parent. And I'm like, oh, this recruiting game, this ranking game is...
Because, man, you can start our own scout service, right? And we can do what we want to do. So that's what it is. But sometimes a lot of college coaches, probably go off that.
Yeah.
And really believe that. Because it's evident that's what happened. Because looking at the NCAA tournament, I tweeted the term low major, high major, low major, mid major, high major. That term is capped. I tweeted that during the NCAA tournament because FAU, San Diego State, all these schools that y'all, these kids don't want to go to, they're beating all these guys, and it's not Cinderella. They're just winning games.
Right.
So when we use that term, like I stopped recruiting that way before I even left college. Don't tell me who a low major. Low major means if you tell me this kid is really good, averaging 29, but he's low major, that means he probably not ready day one for a Power 5, but by his sophomore, junior year, he ready.
Exactly.
That's all that means.
See the potential. How do you read potential? I think this is the biggest thing that I see with a lot of high school coaches. Yeah. It's like they see a kid play their freshman year and sophomore year and like, oh, they're this person.
Right.
Like, no, Juwan Harris Dyson, you've seen it.
Yeah.
And when he was at one school, he was a 4-man, and the development of who he was as a player and a person just wasn't there at that time. He came over to us. All of a sudden, he's a guard, can lock up anybody, grabbing the ball off the rim, dunking on everybody. Because I'm like, look at the potential of this kid. Because he wake up every day and get in the gym at 6 a.m. It had nothing to do with his athleticism. I've seen athletic kids. I've seen fast kids. Nah, he said he'll wake up every day and work out at 6 a.m. Now I can do something with that. Yeah. How do you see potential in somebody? What do you look for? So I look for multiple things. I don't want to give a number, but one of them is toughness, right? You got to see what their toughness is because obviously their body's not developed. And then their will and drive. Like, are they willing to do the 6 a.m. every single day after a good game or bad, right? And then do they have a skill that you see can translate to Division I or NBA? And if it is, you can see potential, but the word potential means need work. So if I have a kid, and all our kids are potential draft picks, that means they need work. Yes. So they're not in school, so the work is 2-a-days, skill before, skill after, specific skill. And I think college used to do potential. We talked about that earlier. Like his freshman, he ain't by the time he's a sophomore or junior. But nowadays, they don't. A college coach is not afforded the time to wait. Right. That's where your portal come in. Right. And so it's just I can take potential kids. I don't think college coaches is looking for potential kids. They're looking for a freshman to come in 6'10", 230, boxing out, running, ready to go. Ready to go. Is there and when we talk about colleges, because I think this speaks to the FAUs and schools like that of the world, there are some schools that still do that. Yeah. And that's why they're competing. Yeah. It's just the majority of the high majors and the blue blood schools almost, right? Where you don't see that type of development and they're already ready. And I think there's that's good in a way that these kids are prepared to play in college for sure. But they're missing a whole, like, you can't skip steps. That's Chris Johnson preaches that you can't. We were able to, this is 4 years ago or so, work out LeBron. Yeah, I remember. And not lockout, COVID. It was right before COVID, though. This was right before. Yeah. And then in COVID as well. Our first workout with LeBron, look the exact same as our first workout with Darius Baisley, who wasn't drafted yet. You can't skip steps.
Yep.
Chris Johnson is like, yo, our first workout always looks like this. We got to see where they're at. Now, based on how good they do, we can advance it and progress it and all those things, but you can't skip steps. And I think that college development piece, and that's what you're doing now with the G League. That's what it looks like OTE is kind of doing. It's like, okay, that's stuff that you would get in college. We got to get at these other places now, and it loses opportunities for some kids. Some kids are, I think, how many 120, 150 names have entered the draft?
No, yesterday the list was 234. It's only 60 picks. Well, it's 58 picks because 2 was forfeited.
Which is crazy. They should have done that. But yeah, so 60.
Well, 2 were forfeited because teams was doing some
good stuff. I don't think that's taken away from the kids, not the teams. They should charge them. I understand it. They should find the teams.
Totally get it, but like that team knew not to do it, so that's what the opportunity for a kid. So that team not really tripping that kid.
That's wild.
But like what you said about that, maybe like with the skill development, maybe like all coaches, like because you can get to a college and just like know what you know and that's it. Man, I watched Chris Johnson work. I seen y'all getting in there 6 in the morning. I'm over there watching. Okay, I'm still in that. I watch Rico. I watch Thomas Scott.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I go to a Clipper practice and watch T. Lou from afar. I turn on the TV and watch Eric Spoelstra body language and how he doing it. I'm studying. So like as a head coach now, but prior to, as a skill developer coach, because that's what we all are, even the head coach, I'm watching how you get dudes better.
Yes.
You know, I ain't seen Clint Parks in the gym work with his guys. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try to watch everybody because I'm still trying to develop as a coach. But more importantly, I'm trying to get you better.
Yes.
And if I get you better, then we can build a relationship.
Yes. I'm
still shagging the G. I'm still shagging boss. Come on, man. You got your 10 in town. I'm still doing that. And I'm always going to be a skill developer coach because I think that's the most genuine way you can get to know this talent. Yeah. If you too good to rebound, even as a head coach, and you can't do it no more, you can't move, you shouldn't be doing it.
Man.
That's my opinion. If you can't move and rebound and meet me in the gym at 9, I don't need no assistant, I don't need no manager, I'm a rebound and pass. If you can't, you shouldn't be doing it. Why are you doing it? Yeah. To tell me? We got too many tell me's.
Yes.
Tell me. No, show me.
Show me.
Do we have any show me's? And then when you show me, okay, so like the Popovich rule, I'm going to teach you everything in training camp because I expect you know nothing. So when you say like we need more high school coaches that's teaching, man, when you get to college, I'm gonna teach you the USC way or the Duke way or the Kansas way from the jump, so you'll know from the beginning.
Yes.
You know that. Yeah, like you just said, Chris, do we do a self-evaluation, which we do too. You know, got the left hand, out of shot off, right hand, we got what you seeing what they don't have, and then we go from here.
Now, you can definitely see the growth. I've been able to work with a lot of players who went through G League.
Yeah.
Marjan.
Yeah.
Jaden with the pre-draft stuff.
Yeah.
Who else was in there? There's somebody else in there that I've seen, but you can see how much they improved. And it's almost, their demeanor just changes.
Yeah.
It's their demeanor of how serious they are when they enter the gym and how serious they take their craft. The focus in their eyes when they shoot. And
look at my boy Hardy though. Y'all did a heck of a job, but like he got dinged up because he was young with me and he was developing. So I let him play through all the mistakes. Remember everybody saying he don't know how to do this and how to do that?
Right.
He learning.
Yes.
The G is a developmental thing.
Yes.
Now he doing the right things with Jason Kidd. He went 37, and I'm not afraid to say that. Jaden Hardy wasn't supposed to go 37. It's obvious.
Right.
It's obvious. And so maybe them teams is drafting off a list too. Maybe they looking at the mock drafts.
Right.
Because now Jaden Hardy is looking like he shouldn't have been 37.
No, absolutely. They get it wrong every year. They get it wrong every year.
Don't act like you perfect then. Don't walk in the gym act like you perfect because your outfit is different from mine.
Right.
Right? It's basketball. It's cool that we all make mistakes, right?
Yes.
Stop trying to act like you up here because you the NBA. It's still a round ball. I'm just saying it's still a round ball at the end of the day, and it's being dribbled in every ghetto and every this and that. So
everywhere.
When it gets to there, it's already been dribbled somewhere else. So somebody was developing it over here.
And not even that. Like, you played for 10 years?
Yes.
You played for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the other part, too, is I think I love that more former players are getting to coaching development college coaching.
Yeah.
I see it all over. That is important because, like you said, there's a lot of people who love basketball, who work for basketball, that don't actually know, who don't actually see, who don't actually have a feel for what it really takes to be there for 10 years. Were you 6'2"?
Yep.
6'2" guard, 10 years in the league. That's tough to do. Not a lot.
And so, man, for me now, it's so important that I do build a relationship with my players coming in. It's opposite of college. Because I got to tell you, like, man, you had the ball your whole time in high school. Now you may get drafted to Steph. You ain't going to have it. Or you may be going to John Morant. Or you're going to play with Milwaukee. You got to learn these other things more than ever now.
Right.
We don't got no time to be waiting. And so we got to kind of have a good form of communication. It's not dictatorship. I'm big country, you small. We got to be on the eye to eye.
Right.
Because I'm trying to help your dream come true.
Yep.
And once they figure that part out, they allow you in.
Yeah.
And like, dang, coach, you right. And so, Hardy is learning it now. You playing with Kyrie and Luka. He's having the ball his whole life.
Yep.
I got to play off somebody. The world ain't over.
Right.
And that's how we try to teach them. We try to get them ready for their NBA position at the Ignite. And it works better because they know now, they see it like, I get it.
Yes. And we talked about it a little bit earlier before the show, is that what's the difference maker from all these lottery picks playing right away in the NBA or being down in the G League? What's the difference?
Well, it's understanding who you are. The NBA is so huge on that, man. You could be 17, 18 years old. They just want to know, do you know who you are? Yeah. And knowing who you are, do you know what type of player you are? You can't come in like, I'm a point guard and I'm going to get drafted to Golden State and I'm going to have the ball in my hands. We'll pass on you.
Right.
And you got to know that at an early age because they drafted 19-year-olds.
Yes.
And so I think the most important thing is knowing who you are early so you can fit in. And so the kid from Santa Clara surprised everybody.
Yeah.
He was supposed to go top 3. He was finished second in the rookie of the year to Jalen Williams.
Yeah. Yep.
He was cold, right? He went to Santa Clara, WCC. You know how many coaches probably passed up on him? He was a high major, obviously in 11th grade.
Yes.
He went to Santa Clara. But he finished number 2 in rookie of the year behind Paolo. They went to 2 different schools.
Yeah, 2 different roads to getting to where they were at.
He knew who he was as a rookie.
Yeah. And his defensive versatility, which is what you just spoke to earlier, is that the difference maker is the defense. And what does that mean by play defense? Is it being athletically capable or is it more to it?
Athletically capable is always a great thing. It's know-how. Know where I need to be, when I need to be there, and on time, all the time.
Yes.
And so, like Eric Spoelstra or Bud over at Milwaukee or T. Lue, it's tough to play young guys because, defensively, they normally not in the right spots. If you're in the right spots, they can mess with you. It's learning that whole thing. Yeah. And so we do a lot of skill work, which is great. They need that. But we need to start teaching defensive skill work for sure. Yeah. Because I'm in the G League, I'm seeing the 9th pick and down is with me all season from whatever team. So if I played the Wizards, the 10th pick was there. If I played OKC, the 13th pick was there. I played Golden State, the 2nd pick was there, Wiseman and Moody. The third, I see. So you got to think though, even though they get drafted that high, if they don't play, they come. I see them all.
Yeah. And
so the main thing is being down there, understanding, defensively of what these teams need and what they want. So that's the thing for young players is the defensive side of the basketball for sure.
Yes.
And the ones who do understand it, you see them less in the G.
There you go. That makes sense because you see people getting buckets in the G League, averaging 30, 25, all that. And I'm like, dang, how come they ain't getting caught up? Because there's people who can't score in the NBA. Mm-hmm. You look at defensive specialist guys, and it's like, oh, that's really why they on the team is they don't even care if they shoot. Yeah. They really want the defense. Yeah, and they go down there and put that work in because they're talented. But shoot, if like, I don't know, a kid like Brandon Boston, killing the G League, 2 years. Yeah. But when you go back to the Clippers, is that they need him to shoot 20 times a game with Paul and Kawhi. Right.
So he probably it's an identity crisis for him. Mm-hmm. It's not he didn't do nothing wrong. It's just that
the situation.
Right, man.
Knowing his role for that moment and then growing out of that. I look at Jeremy Grant who slowly grew into this position where he is now. He was just a young playing defense, rebounding, dunking, and that was when he's at Philly. And then now he's just keep on progressing. Now he's he can go. He has more to him. Right when it's the third contract time, and so
Kawhi did it.
Oh, that's right.
He played in the corner.
You forget the San Antonio Kawhi.
I don't know, but you're basketball.
Yeah.
But like he when he came in, he was a really good defender. Stole the ball, was always locking everybody up, rebounding, and then he grew to that.
Yeah.
The defense builds to trust in the coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's a coach. When I put him in the game, then it's gonna grow because now if he put you on the court because your defense is crazy. Now you make some corner threes. Now you start doing some other stuff. Now they're like, he can do this too because they still can't take you off the court because your defense.
Yeah.
So
love that. Yeah, love that. All right, so this is a segment of our show we like to call My Rushmore. Okay, it's your Rushmore, your top 4. If you had a Mount Rushmore, okay, and you chose the top 4 point guards of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Who you going with? Who's your 4?
Ooh, so my top 4 point guards. This is my. I gotta go with Magic Johnson from LA. He put the smile on everybody's face when we was growing up as kids. 2, it's a guy named Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Zeke, he's one of the coldest that ever picked up the ball handler, point guards. Before Kyrie was him. 3, I'm gonna go with a guy named Stephen Curry. I can't knock what he doing.
Right.
We ain't never seen that. You know what I mean? I know he won more champs than Isaiah, but I'm just going Isaiah dogness and the era he played in. And then for my 4th point guard, I'm gonna go with a guy named Gary Payton. I just think that how he played the point guard position defensively, he probably one of the best defensive point guards. I don't want to say of all time, but one of definitely the best to go down. And so his game was his way. And if you look at all them guys, they all were different. And so those are my top 5 in their primes point guards that nobody could mess with.
I like that. All right, so you put me on the spot.
There you
This
go.
is gonna be tough.
All right.
And this mine's not in order. It's not in order.
No. You gotta put in order, man.
I gotta put no.
Why not?
Because it's a Mount Rushmore.
No,
it's the 4.
Nah. You a podcast, so you gotta be able to say some stuff that people may not like.
No, I'm about to piss some people off. I'm pissing people off. Here, let me say my 4, and then I'll put them in order for you. Okay. So 1.
Oh, 1. You said 1.
The first one.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
My first one. Okay. My first one, I'm going to go with Magic.
Okay.
His ability to play the game the way he did and do what he did, the magic that he had, and to make his teammates better is unmatched to me.
Right.
Like, I just was watching his highlights are wild to me. Next, I got J Kidd.
Okay.
Because he did a little bit of everything.
Yes, he did.
He can. And he literally has eyes on his neck or something. Like, this man would see stuff before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, made everybody around him better.
Right.
Now, I'm too young to remember Isaiah.
Okay.
And so...
That's fine.
So I'm not going to put him up there. I need to go watch film.
Mm-hmm.
That's on me. Steve Nash.
Okay.
I believe the modern point guard was built off of how Steve Nash played the game. I think he opened the door for a lot of guys to have the ball in their hands more and make the reads and reading the pick and roll and the oops. Now, I'm not saying nobody else didn't do it before, but his style, I think, led to that. And so I got some respect for Nash. My final one. Oh, man, this is tough. Now, there's an asterisk. There's an asterisk with Curry.
Okay.
Because I'm on the new wavelength of my boy Rashad Phillips of he's more of a hybrid guard. Yeah. And so I think his style is different. I don't think he's a straight point guard because of his ability. So Steph Curry is number 1 in the hybrid guard section. Of course. I say it like that. It's a straight point guard though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with GP. I'm gonna have to go with GP as well. His defensive. I don't know if there's anybody better at talking mess ever. Yeah. And backing it up in the era that he played in and what he brought as well. And he'll put you in that post real quick. Yeah. Put you in that post real quick. So That's my Rushmore.
We got a good four.
Yeah, it's I think the Steve Nash one pisses some people off. We in LA where he won some MVPs where Kobe should have won them, but
it's true.
Hey,
but he was a good player though. We can't knock him.
Yeah,
we can't knock him. And so that was a good group.
Yeah.
Let me see who. So of your group, Steve Nash was the one that didn't win the championship.
Right. Gary Payton.
Gary Payton won as an older player with D Wade.
That's right. Oh man, he was old. Man,
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He did win one.
I forgot about that.
But it's all about taste and fit and what you like. And like Jordan said, I was looking at his old clip. He said you can't never say who the GOAT because he was like he didn't get a chance to play against Wilt.
Right.
And Jack Nicholson didn't get a chance to play against Tiger Woods in golf. So it's good that we had these debates, but we'll never know who is truly the best or whatever. Because if they didn't get to go head up with each other, how can we? Like you said, you didn't see Isaiah.
Right.
I did. Mm-hmm. So that will make your list not as important as my list.
Right.
So we shouldn't be arguing who better, LeBron or Michael Jordan. Like a kid.
No, that don't make sense.
A kid that was born 14 years ago is gonna say Jordan. LeBron.
All day. Yeah.
Born 45 years ago, you're gonna say Jordan.
Right.
You just do it by the age.
Yeah. No. I think every generation has their GOATs.
No
and
question.
I think there's more than one because the game is so like it's worldwide now. It's worldwide. And
well, boxing, who's better, Muhammad or Floyd? My son didn't watch Muhammad.
Right, but yeah, the power in which that man had outside of boxing
make him
right. Like that's some GOAT stuff.
That's how I feel.
That's some GOAT stuff.
But somebody born in 2000,
because Floyd could make it rain. Like he
somebody born in the year 2000 or 1998, 97, 96. Mm-hmm. They don't know the impact of Muhammad on why they live, especially with African Americans.
Karina, who's your favorite boxer?
See?
Oh, so you know though.
I was born in '98, but I like the history and the reasons why.
She went ready to do
research. Yeah, you deep. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I love Isaiah Thomas. Bad Boys, like they're legendary.
No question. But Muhammad, we gotta argue, he may be the most in sports. Period. For what he did and what he stood for. Like we'll never have a dude say, "I'm not going over here and I'm gonna give up." In today's world, it'd be like $250 million.
Man, what?
They ain't even. We so like selfish world society now. We would never give up nothing. And that's what I was saying about the BCA. Us starting the BCA may make some people mad, but when it comes to this coaching stuff, forget it. I'll take the bullet so the next group have opportunities to not get done. Like me, that's a whole nother story. Now one black coach in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So
for how many years now? 10 years now?
Well, no. Who just got Joaquin Jones was the last one?
Oh, that's right. That's Cal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. There's two things I have to ask about because you're here, and so we got to talk about them. One, who you got going to the finals in this current playoffs?
Man, I ain't gonna front. I played in the NBA however many years I played, and I'm a Laker fan. Just because I'm from here. You know what I mean? So I would like to see them go, but I think it's gonna be Denver. I think they got like a really complete squad. They got a generational talent, the kid Jokic. Mm-hmm. And then from the East, I know Atlanta won last night. I got Boston.
Yeah. So
I think it may be a Boston, Denver team. Finals, because if you look at their pieces, they're like the best group of players on both sides. Well, they're five.
Yeah. Now Jamal Murray's play.
Oh, he back.
And I think he was waiting for this moment. It's like, all right,
well,
we won enough games. Yeah. Now it's time to go.
And then you got like Michael Porter, you got Aaron Gordon.
Their wing depth is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't want to call them guys role players but they're other guys other than them two. Like, come on, man. Yeah. It's like, they got a squad. And then Boston, I was just watching them. They lost yesterday, but they don't miss.
Nah, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum has to be one of the best duos of this generation.
No question. Yeah, no question.
Like, I don't know. I think people sleep on Jaylen Brown for whatever reason, but that man, both of them, they just, like, I think this is the year for them. So for me, in the East, I got Boston.
Yeah. For
sure. The West, I want the Lakers to go as well.
Yeah.
But I got Phoenix.
Okay.
That the way that Booker is playing right now.
Another level.
And I said this 2 years ago. Me and my boys always go to Summer League. And we had this talk, and they were like, yo, who's going to be the next dude? And for me, I was like, Devin Booker. I said, I've been able to see him work out in gyms and been able to be around him a little bit, I was like, when we talk about like that Mamba mentality, he got that.
No question.
His mental is on a whole different level.
No question.
And then you add KD to that, a healthy KD, and you can see it. They both dropping 40 and 30. And, you know, Chris Paul, now that he doesn't have that pressure, I think there was a pressure before all the other situations where he had to perform that may be outside of his natural game because he's that good.
Yeah.
But now he can really do him and be a compliment to these two dudes who are dang near MVP candidates.
So this Denver series is going to be nasty.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about. It's like, okay, who's there you go. Who's actually going to play defense?
Yeah.
You
well, somebody got to play defense.
Yeah. Somebody.
So it's going to be, I want to see that Jamal Murray and that Booker matchup.
Yeah.
See, now we get to the part of the basketball. You as a coach, I'm a coach, but we're still fans. We're tuning in for that. Because we know this is like a high level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we want to see who going to guard Durant, who going to try to stop Jokic.
Yes.
Can y'all play small? So now it's going to be the chess match of the coaching.
Right. No,
So this is going to be real.
And second, you got an opportunity to play against Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, Wembanyama.
Yeah.
I didn't know his last name either until I played against him.
Okay, there you go.
I know it now for sure.
What thoughts?
Man, that dude, let me see, how can I put it? I don't want to say we never seen his style type talent play because Bobo has similar games. But for that age, to be doing it like that, and we was trying. People was like, man, we was trying to win. He's very, very good. He had talent. In the league, he's seen all kind of talent. So we ain't going to say, because we ain't seen stuff, but he's really good. Okay. And the only thing I got to say about his game that I don't like is he too tall. He too tall, bro.
Just too tall for the game.
He too tall. And that's going to be his downfall.
That's interesting. Why? Because people can get at his knees.
Man, he's not like 6'11" or 6'10". He like 7'3.5". Yeah, man. Like when people like I can see why the scouts are mesmerized by because what he does he's shooting fadeaway threes and dribbling and going by guards. You know, it's some freaky stuff. But like he's so tall that all his limbs is exposed. Like he is like. That's what I tell everybody, because I don't got no knock on this game. He's young, so he's going to clean up whatever he got to clean up. But, like, he's, like, really, like, 7'3.5".
I saw a report that he's 7'4.5".
Okay, well.
Even that, which is even crazy.
So, when we played him, I got to see, it was. I know 7 feet.
Right.
I ain't seen Shaq. I ain't seen Tim Duncan. He taller than them dudes, but he out there like a small forward. Now, granted, he's not going to play small forward, but he is tall. He like 3 to 4 inches taller than like Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant is tall.
Right. He
3 to 4 inches taller than KG. KG is tall. So just imagine that, bro. So his biggest weakness of the game, man, he's too tall. Bro, it's tall.
That's a interesting problem.
What you see him in Summer League?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like a real like damn, he is tall money. But he's a good player, and the beauty of this game is like, you know, God keeps blessing this basketball game with talent from all over the world. And so, you know, that's why wherever you are on your own basketball journey, whether you go into Northridge or G League or Michigan State, have fun in your moment, in your world, in your time, and focus on you and stop trying to worry about whatever else is going on. Yeah, your journey is just as important. Because at the end of the day, we all going to be done playing basketball.
Ball stops bouncing.
So just to have fun where you are and relish where you are and be the best where you are because that's all that matters.
Did you know you were going to make the NBA?
Man, I told my mom, I wrote her a book when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and the book was called Money, and she still got it. And I told her I was going to the NBA, and I was 86. So I told her that, and then, you know, for me, I tell kids not to tell people now because, you know, they ain't going to have the same level of excitement for you. And with the generation being such need positive reinforcement now, they may knock a kid off his rockers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You may tell me, man, I'm going to do this big podcast. I'm like, yeah, you think so? So that's hating. So I tell kids when I do go speak to young men of all ages, like, man, keep your dream to you and make it personal so it can burn. And if it's burning, it's going to make you work for it.
Yeah.
Like if I tell somebody something, they don't have the same level of excitement, now I'm mad at them. Well, it ain't even none of their business.
Right.
So keep your own personal dreams to yourself. If you look at the best actors or people who make the cars or anything that they're special at somewhere along their line, they made it personal. And now we seeing like, damn, that person's been thinking that.
Right.
So keep it personal. Stop telling everybody what you're trying to do, because it just gives people more ammo to knock you down. Nobody really want to see you win. They may say it, but nobody really don't want to see you win.
Right. Well, that's why I try to keep the circle tight of the people who I know is just like, hey, we just trying to elevate everybody. And I know you trying to get to the next level. I know, Pooh trying to get to the next level. So I mess with y'all. I know that. And so I think that's important too, is the circle that you're in, that inner circle and the people that you're around are always going to elevate you.
Surround yourself with
positive.
positive.
That little homie that you going to the gym with that stopped shooting after 10 minutes, stop hanging out with him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're trying to get somewhere with this hoop thing, or the ones who are focused on things that aren't for you, you got to get rid of them.
No question.
So you can get to that next level. So this next segment is called Where Were You When? Okay, we're getting in the DeLorean, the time machine.
Okay.
We're gonna go back to the 0.4 second shot. We chopped it up a little bit about it. Derek Fisher, you were at the game.
Yep.
Tell me about what that moment was and what it meant to you at that time.
So it was game 5 in San Antonio. The series was 2-2. We had won the first 2 and then went to LA and lost the 2. I was playing for the Spurs. Actually, I was under the reserve role. I was under the basket with my shoulders crossed. Tim Duncan just hit an amazing shot, and we went crazy. And then it was 0.4 on the clock. And so on that Laker roster was Gary Payton, a guy named Shaquille O'Neal, a guy named Robert Horry. No, Robert's with me. So Karl Malone and Kobe. So Pop, one of the best coaches of all time, we just going to Kobe. Man, Kobe was denied, and Phil had somewhere he went to Derek Fisher. And that shot, it don't go down as like one of the greatest, because it's like, Derek Fisher was a great pro, but if he was like a name that everybody, recognized to be, but that shot was probably one of the most back-breaking shots in like playoff history. He came around to his left hand. Think about that. That's how you know he wasn't really in the scouting thing. He came this way, in his left hand, this way, and hit it. And if you watch it again, you see me look up, and I walked right to the locker room. It was under the basket. But that shot right there, man, I was happy to be a part of it because, 0.4. That's when the NBA started that you can get a shot off in 0.4.
Right. Before they was at, oh no, it's over. They would just call it.
Derek Fisher started 0.4. You can get anything 0.4 and after 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You can get a shot off. And so that shot right there stung, it hurt, and that was game 5, and then we went there in game 6 and lost, and that was the end of that. But I was there for that shot, and that's a great shot in playoff history.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. I remember watching that shot. I was younger, and it was like, it was quiet for a second, like, did that just happen?
Yes.
And then it was like, oh, count it.
He ran right to the locker room.
Yeah.
And so this is before, like, now they bring it right back. Camera. Call New Jersey. Let's look at it. Man, so that was one of the, for me, I'm just a fan of the game. Obviously, you in them runs, you watching, and so you got a chance to see him make the shot over all them Hall of Famers, man. That was like, wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's
so
dope.
D-Fish,
shout out to
D-Fish.
to the mural for sure.
Yeah, you got to get that D-Fish shot up here, man. That was sweet.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Man, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate you having me on the show. This is a great thing, man. We get just to talk basketball and dialogue. And then more importantly, just talk about things that we need to say in our basketball world without being judged or being this or that. It's very important to have healthy dialogue. And moving forward, man, I hope, the world, we all get better. From our culture, we struggle with certain things. Yeah. But we got to get better as a culture because the game is not going nowhere. So we as people involved and around the game, we have a responsibility to educate, make people better, and then also, man, hold people accountable. They ain't never too big to be getting held accountable. No matter what level of coaching or who you think you are, you can still get checked in the basketball world. So we need to keep people around us who can check us when we're wrong.
Right.
And so, and treat people right. And parents love on your kids.
Yeah.
Coaches get players better.
Yes.
Develop. They're not numbers, and they got real feelings from the pro level to the elementary level. Yeah. So that's all I want to say.
No, I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. So that's all for today, folks. Appreciate you coming through again, my brother. This is amazing, and I hope you guys are listening. You know, for somebody who's done it at every single level and continuing to grow and develop. You know, as a person, a husband, a father, of someone who plays the game, and his other son runs track, so he's into the youth sports side, and just a lot of wisdom and like real life application that you can use and connect back to who you were trying to be. You know, is there a way people get in contact with you if they want to reach out?
I'm on social media too. I don't tweet crazy, but if you ever try to get a hold of me, man, I'm at jhart1825. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. So you know, I'm not hard to find. I try to stay in gyms. Yeah. You know, so and that's where my world is. I don't try to venture out my world, and I'm a resource. Yeah. So I get a lot of parents ask me questions about how to do this and players how to do that. So I don't want nothing out of it. I just want your basketball experience to be a positive one, and anything I can do, I'm here to help.
3 people who should come and do this show with me.
Ooh,
call them out. We gonna post it.
Man, 3 people you need on this show. You need Clint Parks.
Clint, okay.
You gotta have Clint because in our world, you know, Clint, man, right or wrong, Clint gonna stand on what he think. Yeah. And so he part of the culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He believe in development. Gotta have Clint on here. Gotta get Baron Davis on here.
Okay.
Baron, what he did for Los Angeles point guards, and you know his time in the game, his influence on and off the court. Gotta have him on here, definitely. Like a Dinos Trigonis. And reason why I say that, he's still in the game and he's doing it at a high level, but he has a lot of influence, and it's just good to hear where he coming from, because he be on Twitter snapping too.
He do?
When something ain't right or wrong.
Yes. And
so people like that, they don't never run from their truths.
Yeah.
And so you got to listen to them type. So I would say Clint Parks, because he a monster on Twitter. And then Baron, because he got a whole different, come with a whole different mindset of, you know, his what he think of the game and where he's at now. And then Dinos. These dudes have influence on the basketball culture in Los Angeles. So them would be 3 that I think you should be able to get.
Oh, awesome. All right. Y'all come on to the show. Jay Hart calling you out. Come and just chop it up with me. Want to elevate your game. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.